Hello space explorers. Yes, Ultra Robert got Saturn Orb, and he will show you how he did it. The first thing you need to understand is getting an orb is not just an action, it's a process. Especially from Saturn, which among the closest planets from Earth, is one of the most difficult to get. Take a look at the Corvette's durability. Only 6 left. So we will need a Corvette with high durability. And to get the best Corvette durability possible, Ultra Robot grinds mostly without landing and going to Centaurus, because crates may help to get good amounts of credits. But when it comes to grinding, there is no right or wrong way. So you may also go to planets and moons for the artifacts and ores. Like when he went to Callisto, in the search for a very special item. A very important item that will give you access to another item that will be useful throughout your journey in Space Simulator on Roblox. Yes, because if there is something that you will constantly need is to restore your health in great adventures that will come in the future, including Saturn and Jupiter Orb, but also Eris and Sedna Orb. And to get this item, the ISS cake, that restores your health, first, you will need to obtain the red card. So, to recap, it's not about going there and getting the Saturn Orb. It's about a whole process of progress and evolution that has to happen with your ship, and with your skills, and also with the acquisition of necessary items so that you have an easier time getting the orb. The ISS cake is essential in this process, because it can always be used to restore 30 points of your health, which can really make a big difference. And to be quite realistic, I need to remind you that the cake isn't enough, nor is the ship with a full durability upgrade. You'll still need to buy the pressure shield module from Boris on Venus. Ultra Robot got the epic one, to get Saturn's orb, which is expected to reduce Saturn's pressure damage by 70% according to the Space Simulator Wiki. It's also a good idea to buy a titanium pickaxe from Diana on Mars. Without these items, you probably won't have the slightest chance of getting the Saturn orb. To cover these expenses, you'll likely need to use several grinding techniques. But, as mentioned several times, the main Ultra Robot technique is to go to the Centaurs. Take nitrogen ice, which can be found most commonly in the Centaurs, where the sun is weaker. Each one is worth 12 credits, and when you manage to harvest 3, you'll get 36 credits. This is the same as Voyager's Golden Record plus a Triton ice, or an organic compound from Enceladus. These 3 nitrogen ices combined are also worth more than a Sun Onyx and a Comet Rock combined, which total 35 credits. Artifacts are also very good for grinding, but you can lose them eventually. If you're starting out in Space Simulator on Roblox and have already considerably evolved your ship, the advantage of nitrogen ice is that if there's nothing abnormal, you have no chance of losing them. Furthermore, we cannot forget that crates can generate a good amount of credits, which can even be combined with credits from other minerals that were also found in the same centaur where they were found. Crates are often located in centaurs relatively close to Earth, around 10,000 light seconds away. Many complain about the credits coming from crates, but in fact, they are often worth more credits than other great riches you can obtain in the solar system, like the Comet Rock or Sun Onyx, or even the Sunflower Shard, and even the Voyager Golden Record. That's how Ultra Robot made the full durability upgrade on his Corvette, and bought the necessary items to go get the Saturn Orb. But as I said, there are no rules when grinding. The idea of centaurs and nitrogen ice is just a baseline. In fact, if you get creative, you can earn even more credits. One way to do this is to take advantage of Halley's Comet when it's near places where you can find other valuable items. All this without landing, which speeds up the grinding. Of course, if you get a little lucky, as Ultra Robot often does, even better. You can earn credits for the upgrades and items needed to get ready to collect the Saturn Orb, without going too far from Earth. The idea of grinding without landing the ship has to do with productivity, which is obtaining the same expected results in a shorter time than expected. The Sun Onyx and Icarus is very important in this context as it will bring 20 credits, which is a good amount, with relatively low risks if your ship is reasonably evolved. Mars moons Phobos and Deimos can also be a good option, although they only contain gold, which brings few credits. If combined with nearby Centaurs, Saturn's rings, or even Halley's Comet and its comet rock, they can make for a very interesting grind in terms of credits. The same applies to Sirius, which is close to Jupiter and the planet Uranus, and has 2 platinum nuggets, making it quite interesting to combine with Halley's Comet and its comet rock, some Centaur close to Jupiter or Uranus, and even with the rings of the planet Uranus, which can bring ring crystals. It's not often that you'll get ring crystals from the rings of Saturn or planet Uranus, but considering they're worth the same as nitrogen ice, I think it's worth a try. So now that we've obtained the necessary resources, especially the pressure shielding module, and the Corvette has fully evolved in terms of durability, it's time for the final training to conquer the Saturn orb. And so you can make the most of this moment. We'll do it both in real time and accelerated a few times, with highlights on what's happening during the mining of Saturn's metallic hydrogen. The tactic of quickly entering and exiting the atmosphere to locate metallic hydrogen is essential, because although you are protected by the pressure shield module, your ship will not have protection unless you have found the compression barrier module on the Centaurs. You will have to use your peripheral vision to see where the target actually is, whether it is the metallic hydrogen or the orb. Once you've located the ore or the orb, you'll need to decide whether to take the ship to the objective and rely on its protection for as long as it lasts, or detach from the ship and try to retrieve the ore and try to survive. Remember, this is just training to learn about the challenges of Saturn. It's clear that merely staying close to the target is difficult. And although your health decays more slowly because of the module's protection, your ship deteriorates very quickly. When everything seemed to be improving, a relentless enemy appears, Saturn's winds, which can be devastating, added to the atmosphere that can visually confuse you. Your Corvette is gone, but the training must continue. The goal is to get out of Saturn alive with the metallic hydrogen. Right now, that's the focus, that's all that matters. Wow, very good, Ultra Robot. Now use your jetpack and get out of there, as fast as possible. What we can initially see is how worthwhile it was to buy the pressure shield module. Ultra Robot is only alive because of it. His health slowly decays, and he has a good chance of completing the mission. If he uses the ISS cake at the right time. That doesn't mean there won't be anguish and a lot of tension before perhaps succeeding. Although the anguish, it is at this time that you need to stay on the path you chose as straight as possible, because any deviation from direction is a sure-of. Control your emotions and stay the course. Your best chance of survival is to stay the course. Don't despair. Space explorers need to know how to work at the limit. Take a slow, deep breath, and move forward without thinking about anything else. Yes, you did it, remarkable. But Saturn's strong winds and gravitational pull still pose a threat. Let's see how long you'll have to fight before you can actually relax and celebrate. You still have to fight to survive. We're speeding things up a bit here, because in real time, it would take 2 minutes and 10 seconds to fight our way away from Saturn to a safe zone. Conquering the Saturn orb with the ship and resources at their limit can be a brutal challenge. Now we need to get back to Earth, In training, this doesn't matter much, but if you're actually trying to capture the Saturn orb, it's worth asking a friend with a savior, or even another Corvette, to be your backup or on standby. Wow, looks like we really have friends watching the training. Friends of space, and of Earth. Well, it's rescue time. I told Ultra Robot from the beginning that I would never help him to truly evolve, but every rule has its exception. Congratulations, Ultra Robot. I was impressed by your determination and willpower. There is a proverb that says fortune favors the bold, and perhaps that is exactly what happened to Ultra Robot when he actually went to get the Saturn orb. It turns out that on his very first attempt to find the orb in Saturn's atmosphere, he saw the orb in a position that appeared to be very favorable indeed. And immediately pointed the ship towards it, stopped the engine, and initiated the detachment to go mine the orb. At this point, in addition to the full upgrade of the Corvette's durability, the best possible pickaxe, and the pressure shield module, his training also made a difference, because as we said at the beginning of the video, obtaining the orb is not an action, it is a process. So, taking advantage of the favorable conditions under which he worked, and a stroke of luck, Ultra Robot showed that in fact, anyone who dedicates time, effort, energy, using a strategy that suits them, can reach the goal of getting a Saturn orb. Virtue comes through effort. No one can help you as much as you can help yourself. Ultra Robot was not programmed to get orbs, but he dedicated himself to this adventure to help many who asked to better understand how to get the Saturn orb. Wow. That was epic.
If I could get this orb, you can too. Don't give up. See you, space explorers.